Well, speaking of agreeing, saw an article on the Free Press, and the title was about Michigan moving to the SEC. And obviously, you're hearing rumblings of Texas moving and other schools moving into different conferences. And, you hear about the Big Ten absorbing other schools, but we never really hear about the Big Ten moving to other conferences.
Because we're the powerhouse.
Well, no, the SEC is the powerhouse.
Powerhouse.
Yeah.
Across sports, though, I mean, football, it's SEC for sure.
Yeah.
But across sports, I'd say Big Ten's probably the top.
It is a well-balanced, definitely a well-balanced conference. Like last year, basketball, the Big Ten supposedly had the best teams in basketball. Traditionally, that had been the ACC with Duke and North Carolina.
That's so far out, though.
Yeah.
ACC is probably 4 or 5 plus years out.
Yeah.
It's been year after year. Big Ten has been itching towards that top of being the best. It's crazy to say, the best basketball conference.
So the question is, should Michigan leave the Big Ten and join the SEC? What do you guys think about this?
No, because all of my merch that I have that says Big Ten will no longer be valid.
Be collector's items.
The big thing is the TV deals and cash flow more important, like than just individually staying in the Big Ten? Because we know Michigan and Michigan State combined for a whopping 4-9 in 2020.
Huge win totals.
It's about, Mel Tucker, he's a former Alabama assistant. They know about the SEC. I mean, it's about if these guys are enticed to go in there and the schools will make way more money, but guess what? You're versing way better opponents. So if you want to get smashed by Alabama and now Oklahoma and Texas in a couple of years, then go right ahead. But you're going to make double the money, so I don't know. It's really what their priorities are, to be honest.
It's a tough one.
I'm a no.
Yeah.
I'm a hell no.
And we thought Ohio State was a bad game at the end of the season.
Exactly. We're going to be playing Alabama every year. We're going to be playing all those teams. LSU. So you add those to the schedule, Michigan will never win a damn game.
There's so much.
Michigan will never win a damn game if they go to the SEC. And unfortunately, that's the position that the Michigan football program is in right now. And they also mentioned Michigan State going there too. But either way, we have a rough enough time competing right now in the Big Ten, like beating Wisconsin, beating Penn State. Obviously, Ohio State's not even in the conversation because we haven't beat them in 47 years. But there is no way that Michigan should leave the Big Ten and join the SEC. And I thought you brought up a great point with the money. The Big Ten network, you got your own network. You're bringing in the cash flow. So why panic and make this move?
Could someone explain to me what this whole changing conferences thing is all about? Is it literally just money?
Yes.
It's not about money. At the end of the day,
it's all about money. You can't say it's about the team because Texas and Oklahoma, if it was all about the team, they would stay in the Big 12 where they have a chance.
Right, but it's all about where college football is going, though, right? I think everybody in this room believes that it's going to go to 4 major power conferences.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like, all these sub-conferences are going to get absolved or get absorbed by the big guys. That's where it's going. And then you're going to have pretty much 4 regions. Those regions play each other. Those final 4 teams play for the championship. So I like the progression and where it's going because when I was talking to Joik Bell about this, he loves Division II football because they actually have a playoff. It's not just, hey, these guys are the best. It's voted on by a bunch of old fat dudes sitting in a room, and all of a sudden Nick Saban's winning his 19th national championship.
Right.
You got to go. You got to prove it on the field. So I think that's where it's going, and people are just trying to align before all these big changes happen. And I like the idea of people joining the Big Ten, obviously. I don't like the idea of the Big Ten flying out and joining all these other conferences. But if we can get down to those 4 power conferences, I think it'll be better for college football overall.
And when you think of these conferences, I mean, you think Big Ten, you think Michigan. It's either Michigan or Ohio State. Those are the 2 teams you automatically think of when you think of Big Ten. When you think of SEC, Michigan is going to be probably the 5th best program.
Right.
We're just going to be so forgotten in the SEC.
And, this, I'm going to credit Shad. He brought up a great point in the comments. He said Michigan moving to the SEC would probably force the recruiting to be more aggressive for Michigan because think about it. It ain't like, hey, we're going to beat Michigan State's ass and all that. Like, no, you're going against Alabama. You're not bottom tier, but you're down. You're middle of the pack. So it's a tough recruiting chip. You're going against Nick Saban, and now you have Oklahoma, Lincoln Riley, and in a couple of years you're going to have Texas. So you know what? It's a lot more things that are coming your way, but that TV deal and those money, man, it's like double, too. So there's a lot of positives in there as well.
Yeah, no, I never really thought about that, but would it help with recruiting? Because like
Or like
Nick
hurt recruiting, hurt them.
Oh, hurt recruiting.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's hard to recruit if you're in the same. If you could just go to Alabama, I'll just go to Alabama. It's a better team. You're in the same conference as you, and we're gonna whoop your ass this year. So it's like, why would I go to Michigan unless you have a coach you like or someone there you're close with or whatever the case may be. But if I'm a 5-star recruit, I mean, I'm just going to stick with the same path. I mean, everyone's already going to Alabama, but now I'm even more enticed because I don't want to get my ass beat by Alabama, so I'll go join them. You know what I mean?
Right, and I'm seeing some people in the chat talk about like where these schools are located and how that affects. I mean, that kind of went out the window with the Big Ten bringing on Nebraska, then Rutgers, and
Bring
all
'em
that.
all.
Like, I mean, the Big Ten spans literally from the East Coast all the way to Nebraska at this point. It's no longer like the Midwest teams. So, like, I do agree that it should be regionalized like that, but it doesn't seem like that's how it's going to work because these colleges are going to make the decision that best benefits the college. Like Texas may go play in the SEC, they may play in the ACC, and that's the Atlantic Coast Conference. Like they ain't close to the Atlantic Coast.
Yeah.
They could go to the Pac-12. That's close to the Pacific. So like I get it, and in theory we could just go like this. Boom down the country, boom across the country. If you fall in these regions, that's where you go. I think that's ideal, but I mean,
it just then
money
it gets,
at the end of the day.
Then it gets all right, football in the South is way better, and then you see all these teams. It's tough. It's tough to really separate these divisions like that.
Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting. But when I saw that headline about Michigan going to the SEC, I was like, that is a recipe for disaster. Disaster.
Because you made a great point earlier. Like, I like the idea of everyone being conjoined into one, but it's like just the idea of Michigan moving. It's not a good idea. It isn't. And we can all collectively agree on that.
Yeah, no, they are the Big Ten, like at least in my opinion. But I grew up here. Obviously, I'm a little.
It's that or Ohio State. Those are the two you think of. You ain't thinking of Northwestern. You ain't really. I mean, I love Michigan State, but you're not thinking Michigan State.
Right. Yeah, you're thinking Penn State, you're thinking Wisconsin, you're thinking Ohio State and Michigan. Those are like when I think Big Ten core, those are the 4 core that I think of.
Yep.
Ohio State can go if they want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Get the hell out. It'll just Michigan and Michigan
See,
State.
I don't want that either, though.
Why?
I don't want that. We need that. We need that rivalry.
We need that big brother a little bit in there.
I at least want us to switch conference or like divisions from them because right now inside the conference we're in the same division. I would love for Michigan and Ohio State to be on opposite divisions so they play each other in the championship
So
game.
like put them in the West, keep us in the East side of it.
Yeah, because I love the tradition of they're the last game of the year every year.
Yeah.
Like that's part of it. But wouldn't it be better if it was for championships? Not to decide who's going to get kept out of the championship,
Well, then
essentially.
Michigan would play Ohio State every 95 years because Michigan would never get a chance to play the championship game.
You don't think Michigan would?
Hell no, they'd lose to Michigan State or Iowa or Nebraska or whoever else they play.
So where do you rank Michigan in the Big Ten right now for football, Fish?
3 or 4.
3 or 4? Okay.
Probably Ohio
Pretty
State
fair.
1. 2 would be probably
Indiana right now.
Wisconsin.
Indiana, Northwestern.
Okay. Number 2 would probably be Indiana. 3, Northwestern, Wisconsin, probably up there.
Yeah, Penn State's got to
Penn
be in there.
State,
Yep.
Minnesota's probably even above us. That's sad to say.
Minnesota. So-
Michigan State
And then
beat Michigan
and then
last year.
Michigan.
That's
So,
tough, man. What
yeah.
a bad
Way
year for
down there.
football last year for the colleges here in
COVID, though.
Michigan.
We'll blame COVID.
You could blame COVID, but everybody else had to deal with COVID, and they whooped our ass.
Yeah, it was. Let's not talk about it. Let's talk about this upcoming season.
Yeah. I think bottom line is none of us think Michigan should go to the SEC, right?
No.
Nope.
Nope. And anybody in the comment, if you think they should, let us know why. Because I can't come up with a reason why either.
Yeah, I'm all right. I wouldn't go that far, Steve, to say that I'd stop watching college football if this happened. But it's just, I mean, it would be cool to see us going against better teams if we were a better team. We're just not there yet. If we were destroying our division and just every single year we were just winning, destroying them like Alabama versus every team they play, okay. But
Right.
that ain't the case. We would get destroyed by, I can name 4 or 5 teams in the SEC every single season. And then we go from being a decent program to being the worst program ever.
Like, we can't even beat Ohio State, and you think we can contend with the likes of LSU, Bama, and Florida.
I mean, Florida I'm not so scared of anymore. LSU and Bama,
Kyle
hell yeah.
Pitts and Kyle Trask is gone, all right?
Dude, if
Florida's
we get a
nothing.
touchdown against freaking LSU or Alabama, that's considered a win.
Yeah. So yeah, I saw the article in the Detroit Free Press. Thought it was interesting to talk about, but yeah, I'm with everybody on this panel right now. Do not go to the SEC. Stay here. Win the Big Ten. Let's do that this year. Win the Big Ten this year, and compete for a national championship. Maybe. I know those are high hopes, but Michigan State. Let's go. I root for both of you. Like I said, I went to University of Detroit. I have no rooting interest in the game. The only reason I'm probably a little bit more of a Michigan fan is my third grade teacher, as we discussed many months ago. My third grade teacher was a Michigan cheerleader, and she taught us the fight song in third grade, and it's been ingrained in my head ever since then. But that being said, I've had much better times at Michigan State partying. So
yeah, Michigan could be lame unless it's a game day.
Yeah, Michigan.
Let's be honest.
Everyone's
I've been to
studying.
a couple lame parties at Michigan.
Yeah,
like my
Michigan State, there ain't no such thing as studying.
No, or lame parties, because at Michigan State, if this party sucks, go like 4 doors down, and that party's crazy.
Yep.
And then if that party sucks, and that's what they do. This one gets broke up, you move to that house. This
And
one gets
way
broke
more
up.
welcoming too. Michigan, they're all stuck up to the point where it's like, no, you can't come unless you got an invite.
Yeah.
But MSU, you don't need
Come
no
on
ID.
in.
You don't
No.
need to know anybody here. Just pop on in.
No, I was.
And then Central Michigan.
Oh, Paige, tell us about Central Michigan parties, because we're coming up this year and partying with y'all.
Oh my gosh, you guys can come anytime. I'm gonna have parties at my house all the time. Dance team house. It'll be fun.
Will you teach Jeff how to dance?
I don't know if I'm a miracle worker. I could teach
Hey,
3-year-olds
I
how
got
to dance.
moves.
I don't know about Jeff though.
hey, I got moves. Ask my girlfriend. I got moves.
Joey,
God.
we gotta get one of their routines down and go out there and perform it with them.
Oh, that'd be dope.
I did it
Dude,
with,
that'd be so funny.
I did it with
I
the
could
Lakeland
teach you
Broncos
guys.
cheer team.
Yep, Lakeland Broncos.
I want to see Stick do a routine.
Oh, we got
man.
footage somewhere.
That would be fun.
He's
I
so
could get you
tall.
guys tickets too. I get free tickets because of dance.
Give me an R. Give me an O. Hey, what does that spell? Broncos.
I'm like wrong school, you guys. Where the Chippewas over here.
It was
Yeah,
great.
don't say Broncos up there. You'll
Yeah.
get shot.
No, we're talking about Lakeland.
Speaking
Oh, yeah, I
of
got you.
football,
Yes, fish.
I didn't read too much into it, but the Buffalo Bills, this is like a .000 but it's out there. Bills may move to Austin, Texas.
Really?
There were rumors swirling around if they can't get their, I think they're trying to get a new stadium or
Yeah.
stadium relocation, something like that, so they might move to Austin.
That's so
now,
stupid.
to talk about that, there's talk that Jerry Jones will decline it, so it won't
I
happen.
was gonna say just
But
what we need:
it's to
another
talk
fucking
about
football team in Texas.
The Bills going to Austin. So Austin Bills, maybe?
Just
I
because
mean,
of a arena,
that's a
he's not. You can't
horrible
negotiate
name.
a contract with an arena. You're gonna move.
Austin, anything is just
Well,
a
same thing
horrible
with
name.
Chicago. They're having disputes with their stadiums.
The
It'll get
solution
worse
is
out.
put them in
Possibly
Toronto.
move.
I know, really.
Honestly,
I don't want them in Toronto.
why? They're pretty. Like Buffalo is Toronto. They're like 45 minutes away.
Well, then they got to play CFL.
No.
Get out of the NFL.
No.
Yes.
No.
If they're in Canada, get out.
No, why? We have Canadian hockey teams in the
Yeah,
NHL. We have
uh-huh.
Canadian baseball teams.
Yeah, but they're
we
all
have
the same-
Canadian
but
basketball
the-
teams.
but they're
Football
all-
is the only sport without a Canadian participant.
Yeah, because they have Canadian football. You saw Canadian U.S. teams try to play Canadian football. They didn't do so well. Two different sports.
Yeah.
Everyone's not going to be from Canada in that league, though.
Well, no, that's why they have a rule of, what is it, 3 or 4 Americans allowed? Something like that?
Wait, that's a
To
rule.
keep their, yeah, that's the rule. To keep their league strong and to keep their league homegrown talent instead of just, hey, this is the Canadian Football League.
Sounds pretty racist.
Oh,
to
That's
me.
why that league
95% of our-
sucks, Fish.
It's a great league. You should watch it. Seriously, it's a great league. It doesn't suck.
It was great when
Thursday
Doug
Night Football,
Flutie was
by the
there
way.
and Warren
Thursday Night
Moon.
Football, 8:30 on ESPN2. Any of you will be watching? No?
No. Well, Matthew
cool.
Stafford had some things to say about
Rematch of the
Detroit.
2019 Grey Cup. It'll be pretty good.
We don't have ESPN Canada,
First time
right,
in
Fish?
ESPN2, ding ding. First time in 2 years. ding ding. That Canadian football's back. So,
Just call him a
watch.
ding ding fish.
Well,
Blue Bombers
speaking
are
of
Titan
American
Cats. Who else, by the way?
football, all
One
right, Fish, we're done with
trophy
this.
for Grey Cup.
All right, speaking of American football, Matthew Stafford had something to say about his time here in Detroit. And yeah, Joey, to your point, hopefully this Stafford-Detroit thing ends, but, he talked about it, and I want to talk about this because I want your opinion if you believe what he said is true, and we'll discuss it coming up next on the Woodward Sports Network.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. And at Hall Financial, we treat our clients like family. And our number one priority is giving each of our clients 5-star service. Our passion for 5-star service, combined with our expertise, allows us to find the best possible solution for refinancing your home loan. We take the time to focus on both the individual and the numbers. We're going to walk you through the process and close your loan in half the time of our competition. Go to davidhallmortgage.com today.
Here we go now.